Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another Project Life Process video. In this video, I'm working on week 18 from 2017. So we are just plugging along. I still have not worked on my week in the life, which was back in week 16, but I do have some photos coming with the bulk of my photos for my week in the life album. So that will definitely happen. I'm sure because I'm a little behind on getting this to YouTube that you'll probably see them in succession. But as of now, I have yet to work on the album. Getting pretty excited about that. So I'm doing what I do every time, which is just going through all of the photos that I've printed. I'm printing them on my Epson PM400. That's a PictureMate printer. And then I'm cutting things out and putting them in place. And of course, like always, I'm just setting things down where I have like an idea of where I might want them to go. But ultimately, in the end, sometimes things change around based on cards that I pick and how things look next to one another. So I am primarily using the May kit from Studio Calico. So you're going to see me throughout this spread pull out some supplies from that kit. Those little die cuts were from the May kit. Obviously on the title page or the title card, that May word, that's also from the kit as well. I really love that those kits are coming with that this year. Actually, I think it started with August, but I really do love it. And then I pulled over this card that also came from a Studio Calico kit from a while ago. It has a really gold pattern on this orange, and I've always wanted to use it, so I'm pretty excited that I'm going to use it this week. And then I'm taking some just leftover cardstock. I think this actually came from the prep work that I was doing for a week in the life. That's definitely a video on my YouTube channel that you can check out, just some of the prep work I did for my album. But I was doing it while I was working on this spread at the same time. I just decided to take one of my circle punches and punch out some half circles or 3/4 circles to do a little bit of journaling right on my photos. I thought that I've done this several times before. I haven't done it lately, so I thought that I would do it again. That definitely allows me to tell a little bit more of the story and get a little bit more design in the spread. So I had that half 3x4 card of my daughter that I decided that I wanted to go onto a 4x6 card. So you saw that I just went ahead and cut up a card and stuck it down there. And I'm not going to get to it right away. I haven't decided what I want to put on it, but I will get to that in just a minute. I'm going back to my title card and just going ahead and using my roller date stamp and putting in the date. Kind of got a little askew, but not a big deal. I was actually pretty happy with how that stamp printed on that card, because you can see the decal with the gold. It kind of is embossed, and I wasn't sure how it would look, but it ended up working pretty great. So I apologize that my video jumped ahead. My camera actually turns off about every 12 minutes. And when I'm getting in the zone and I forget to go ahead and shut it off, then sometimes I lose that. And I end up losing like a minute of footage. But really all I've done is just what you saw me do is I cut out some white pieces and put them at the bottom of those 3x3 cards. I do that all the time. So you've seen me do that in other videos if you've seen some of my other videos. This is definitely a technique that I use. I think every week I do this because I like to have these 3x4 cards, these 3x3 pictures. And then I'm just adding some journaling after I put the date right on there. I feel like this is a great way to be able to tell a little bit of a story and include the photo as well. I feel like this time around, I'm kind of using that same technique with my 4x6 photos, where I've got those half circles that I'm going to be able to tell pretty much the same kind of a little story that goes along with it there. So I just went ahead and did 3 of them at a time. You can see that I've left one out, one photo I didn't do. And I think it's because I was either trying to decide what I wanted to do with that photo specifically. So I didn't go ahead and do it at that time. And now I'm just going to put a few things away to like kind of help clean some things up. So I grabbed over this stamp set, and when I was looking for some stamp sets that I wanted to use, this one jumped out at me. It was from Studio Calico. And on the side, it says things like watching, feeling, loving, loathing, exploring, eating, making. So I decided I was looking for a small stamp that I could stamp onto the half circle and then do a little bit of journaling. I've done this before. You know, it's been things like yes or love. And I'll either use it on all of them or I will alternate between the two. But this time when I saw this stamp set, I thought this would be really great that I could use one of each. And so I didn't think that they all fit perfectly, but I actually really liked it, how it helped me to be a little bit more creative in the writing that I did on the journaling. So that one of me that I did was about, it says feeling. And so I just wrote a little bit like that. The one that I'm doing right now of my daughter's with the guitar is exploring. So it was a lot about my daughter Tess exploring with the guitar, and then my daughter Bella really helping to teach her. She's shown an interest in wanting to learn. So I think that's awesome that her sister's willing to teach her what she knows, even though she's never been properly trained. She just kind of taught herself. So she was showing her how to learn a song that she really wanted to learn, something that she likes. So I just wrote a little bit about that using exploring. And then the next one I'm going to go to, and I'm just, cleaning the stamps in between. Actually, I should tell you before I move on that the stamp, or the ink that I'm using is a dark gray. It's called Slate, and it's from Studio Calico, and it is a dye ink as well. So I thought that I would just let you be aware of that as well. So the next one that I'm using for this one is Loving, and in the photo we're playing some family games on a Sunday. So that's something that we all love to do. We definitely don't do it enough, but it's something that we love to do and hope to do more. So doing a little bit of journaling about that. And then the next one that I'm going to go to after I clean up my photos is about making. Now, I thought this was the one that was probably that I was stretching it the most, but none of the other ones really fit. I could have done watching, I guess. But I liked that I could kind of use it where he was making, now is the time to be outside. And he's really, I'm really grateful that he is willing to make our yard beautiful and, pick up all the dead stuff from after the winter. So that's kind of what I was talking about, was more kind of gratitude that he is able to make our yard beautiful again after the winter. So I thought it was a little bit of a stretch, but like I said, I liked that it made me have to think a little bit more creatively. So moving on, I decided to grab over, this is another thing that came with the kit. It was these speech bubbles. I think they were vellum, definitely had a see-through feel to them. And I loved them. I loved the colors. I loved that some had polka dots. I don't know. I feel like I haven't had something like that before to work with, or I guess I did maybe last fall, and I loved those too, but I like the speech bubbles. I am a fan of speech bubbles. And so I decided to pull them out, and I really wanted to incorporate them into this spread. So I was thinking that I would definitely put it with that photo of me and of Tess on the computer. She was studying for her AP exam, and then possibly using them in other places. So I'm pulling over some stamps, another stamp set, because I'm thinking what I want to do is I want to stamp down on that white, and then I want to put one of the speech bubbles underneath it. I also could have stamped on top of the speech bubble. I think that would have worked out okay. I didn't do that, so I don't know if it ends up smearing, but I kind of liked that feel of it being vellum, that it was, that you were looking through to the element. So I pulled over the stamp set that came with one of Ali Edwards' Day in the Life kits, and it says right now. It's a messy circle. You know that I love messy circles. So I stamped that down. I didn't really love it. I wasn't sure. I just, did a sample to kind of see if I would like it. I wasn't sure what was bothering me about it. So I moved on and started looking through some of the cards in the kit that I could use. Obviously, at this point, like I usually do, is I'm thinking about other stories that I want to tell from this week. I've actually got a lot of stories told, which was on almost every 4x6 card I've told a story, and then several of the 3x4 cards I've told a lot of stories. So I feel like this week is definitely well documented. So I'm trying to decide how much more do I want to say, how many filler cards do I want to use, and definitely a way to be able to then use some more of those speech bubbles. So I'm coming back and, just trying to decide what I want it to look like, and do I want to use this circle element? And I think it actually probably would have gone okay because I have all those circles on the 4x6 photos with the journaling, but something was just bothering me. So another stamp set that I looked at and saw had this bold currently on it, and I stamped it out, and you can see that I'm putting it on top of it. And it took me about 5 seconds to realize, yep, that's what I want. I think sometimes when we're trying to make a design decision and something doesn't jump out at us that we like it right away, I think we need to take a step back, like what I did. I moved on to looking at the cards and to seeing what I wanted to do with the cards instead. And when we can take a step back and either look at it again and decide, yes, I like this, or no, I don't, then you can move on, which is exactly what I did. I looked at it and I thought, I'm just not loving this messy circle. And so then I went to look for something else. And then right away when I stamped down the currently, I absolutely loved it. So I knew right away that it was going to work for me. Anyway, to adhere that down, I just went ahead and used the staple. I thought maybe adhesive would show on the back. And of course, I like the way the staple looks as well as an element in the spread. Then, of course, my video jumps ahead a little bit, and you can see that I'm doing a little bit of journaling. I paused there at the end because I realized it is one of those moments where I ran out of space and it wasn't going to make sense. So I was trying to think of a sentence that would work so it did make sense, but then I actually put a couple sentences behind as well just to finish off the story. I don't know that I'll remember it's there, but I don't know, maybe one day I will. At least I've got it down so I won't forget. And again, it's not something I could really redo because it was just a card that was printed. Again, I'm doing the same thing that I did before. I decided to go ahead and just finish off that 3x4. I thought for a minute that I might do something different with it, but ultimately I just decided to do the same thing that I had done with the other 3. And then I went ahead and I took that last speech bubble that was orange, and I believe it says days like these. I actually really like the ones that were printed. There was only one that had a type on it, and I wish they had actually included more. So I wanted to do a little bit more of that same kind of typed feel. And so I grabbed over the white unicorn ink from Hero Arts, and I stamped a stamp from the same stamp set that I used before, and it said, "You are my fave." And then I decided that I was going to put another one of these speech bubbles onto that photo, but you couldn't really see it that well because the photo is dark and not light. But unfortunately, I ended up, cutting it out of white, and then I was trying to fix it, and then I put adhesive on it, and then when I wiped the adhesive off, it got onto the vellum and it got onto the white, and it was dark, and then it didn't look well. And then ultimately what I ended up doing was rubbing off some of the pink. So then I totally wrecked it, and I was way bummed because I wanted to use it for sure, because I wanted one more speech bubble. I had 2, I wanted 3, and I didn't think that anything else would fit anywhere else in the spread. So ultimately what I decided to do is just scrap the cardstock behind it and then just put it on the photo and hope that looked all right. And I think it looks okay, but it wasn't ultimately what I wanted. And then I decided to do one more stamp. This one is from the same stamp set, so it's got the same feel to it, but it says "An Ordinary Day," using the same white ink, and it goes along with the other card that said "See Beauty in Ordinary Things." So I thought that it kind of fit the theme also. Not that I was going for that, but it just kind of worked out. So I like when things work out like that. Then one last thing I decided to add, these plus signs also came with the kit, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the element, but I felt like I wanted to add just a little bit of something. And this time I just went ahead and stuck it right to the outside of the pockets. And I didn't even worry about, taking the photos out and putting them on that way. I kind of like when that's a possibility. And these have really great adhesive, so I don't imagine that they will fall off. So grateful for that. Anyway, you guys, this spread is done. There is actually one more thing that I wanted to do, and I sat there trying to think about what story I wanted to say. But the card that has the speech bubble on it, it has a white space below the little detail. It has like a gold detail on the top 3 inches. And I really couldn't decide what story I wanted to tell. I was kind of like writing out some ideas. It was more kind of like something I was grateful for. I wanted it to be really small. So I was just kind of writing out some ideas and trying to decide. I felt like there was a lot of, the 3x3 with the journaling on the bottom. And so I felt like it was just a lot of it. So I'm attempting to do it. And then ultimately I decide, I'm hungry. I need to go get lunch. So I don't end up doing it. And then once I've walked away from it and I think I took pictures of it, then I've just let it go. So I'm not going to worry about it because I feel like I've just got so many stories already told this week that I think it'll look fine just as a design element there. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really hope that you're able to get some inspiration from this. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and I will definitely get to them. And you guys, we will catch you in the next video. Bye.